friends, hello. We have Marvelous Mark with us. That is a wonderful gentleman who is, you see, he's like Rolling Stones. He's rocking, he's rock and rolling in life and business. And he makes very, very boring business entertaining. He doesn't like boring things. And I think that he manifesting that he wants to live good life, interesting life. I'm happy to see you, Marvelous Mark. Why are you marvelous? Tell me, please.
Well, one of my mentor friends many years ago, probably back in the early '80s, said that when you go someplace, if you can't be memorable, why show up? And that stuck with me through my whole career. Back in the early days, there was a USA TV show called Saturday Night Live. I don't know if it gets syndicated out there or not, but there was an actor called Billy Crystal, and he had this phrase, "You look marvelous," and it was all over t-shirts. And then when I started my career in radio and broadcasting, then I became Marvelous Mark, but I spell it a little bit different. I spell it Marvelless, because less gives you more. Sometimes we try to complicate business with laws and strategies and rules and training guides and manuals, but if you just keep your strategies and your business principles simple, like rock and roll, then I found that you can have a lot more fun and a lot more success.
That is absolutely. Mark, how come you said that you were touring around the country for 30 years? You were living very exciting life with music, with performances, and you said you were changing 150 costumes. I cannot imagine, it's like Bolshoi theater almost. How you managed to put this tremendous energy that you have in you in normal life? How you can live normal life without being bored?
Well, we are all energy producers. Every living creature, every living person, human being. We generate electricity. We generate energy. And when I was reading some books, I think it was from Dan Sullivan. I can't remember the author, but he said, 80% of the people really only tap into 40% of their energy. So that means most people during their job, during their business, they're only operating at 40%. Now, you remember when we're in time of crisis or when there's an emergency and all of a sudden, we find this hidden energy to do these crazy and great things. And people are like, oh my God, where did that energy come from? Well, it came from you. You were only using 40%. So if there was a crisis or an emergency or something that caused your adrenaline to get pumped up, you're just tapping into the other 60. But what if we swapped that around and we started operating at a 60% energy level every day with our business and our life, and we just kept 40% on reserve? And what I did in the early days of touring, I just found a way to switch that and tap in and try to operate. I always try to operate at 100% range.
Do you think if we will operate at 100% range, it's like Pantera or Tiger who is using all his power? But if you look at the people as at animals, let's say you are Pantera or Tiger, they never operate 100%. They hunt, they catch somebody, and then they're sleeping. Do you think it's reasonable to operate 100% all the time?
Well, you have to have downtime. You have to have charge time. If you research some of the greats in our country, like, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, or, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, some of the big billionaire entrepreneurs in America. They all talk about how they are always recharging, how they build in time in their day, to go to the gym, to meditate, to read. You've always got to recharge. Otherwise you burn out. That's why a lot of times, one hit wonders, people, that was just burnout. They went go, 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 and they never built in time for reflection, recharge, because that's where your creativity comes from. That's where your ideas come from. If you're going 100% all the time, you don't have any flow time or downtime to be creative and come up with new ideas or your next number one song.
Tell me, please, this secret of creating songs, since you are a rock player yourself, since you are a musician and you're a performer, uh, how you recommend to use this secret of the band, of the music, of the energy in the business? Of course, performance is different, the stage is different, but can we use something from the stage and performing in business as well?
Well, one of my quotes is that you can be a rock star on stage and get paid to play, or you can be a fan in the stand who pays to watch. And Bill Gates, I use Bill Gates in my keynote presentation, and a lot of people are shocked. But Bill Gates, the former CEO of Apple, he used the Beatles as his business model. And his quote was, they were four young guys who kept each other's negative tendencies in check. They balanced each other, and the total was greater than the sum of their parts. And then he says, and that's how I see business. Great accomplishments in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people. So Bill Gates used rock and roll. He used the Beatles as his business model. And, that's what I try to do when I show businesses and companies on how the success strategies, the energy, the disruption, the constantly training or practicing, the creative flow of a rock star can work for business as well.
So you think even this disruption can be positive for business, and disruption, we can use it for positive things? Because for me, disruption is nightmare. You're doing something, then you are disrupted by the telephone call, by email, by the boss. And of course, you forgot what you were doing before. And for creative people, I think disruption is disaster. Don't you think so?
Well, the way you're describing disruption, yes, you're describing when you're allowing somebody else to disrupt your flow. But if you're the disruptor, if you're the one creating the disruption, then you're the one making all the noise. You're the one that is standing out in the crowd. You're the one that is being heard above the noise and drawing attention to you. Now, with that, you need to make sure that you have, whatever product or whatever service that you're selling, you need to be sure that once you create that disruption, you can deliver what you're promising. But I agree with what you're saying. When you allow somebody else to disrupt you, then that can be a nightmare. But when you switch, flip the switch, or as they say in the movie business, when you flip the script, then you become the disruptor, and then you draw attention to you. It's kind of like disruption is almost like marketing. You want people to see you, you want to stand out, you want your business to stand out, and that's how you get raving fans to follow you and become customers.
Mark, tell me please, Marvelous Mark, tell me please, what is the secret of USA and US in general, who are that good in marketing? I don't think any other country is that good as US, really. Maybe Hollywood is moving, the system of Hollywood is promoting the values or something, because some other countries, they're very good in producing something, but the marketing is terrible. Nobody see them, nobody know them, nobody appreciate them. What is that? What is the successful secret of marketing for USA and for you and for the companies with whom you helped?
Well, if I had the answer to that question, I'd be interviewing you instead of you interviewing me. But it's a combination. It's a combination of everything. And the bottom line is, especially in today's world, because we've all been affected by the pandemic, and it's been a challenging year, and a lot of companies went down, a lot of people suffered. Some of us went into defensive mode, which is fine. But I tell everybody right now, as the world starts to open back up, you got to go back to playing offense. The rock stars, have been in their garages, they've been at home, Zooming shows or accepting awards from home, and maybe gaining a little weight while they're at home. But now it's time to get the tour buses back out, and, marketing is being visible, basically. So whatever your product is, whatever your song is, there's a lot of talented artists out there. There's a lot of talented creative people like yourself out there. But if you don't have the marketing, if people never heard of you, then you're just, it's hard to be a professional. It's
You
hard to
are
get paid.
unknown, you are hidden, you are a hidden hero. If nobody knows about you, yes, definitely. And our role, the role of Hidden Hero platform, to help people to be known, to have the voice and to promote their products. They will know, okay, if you want to have entertaining event, invite Marvelous Mark, because he can make it.
All aboard.
You see, this is the trade coming from what places you're located now at? Where
I'm
are
sorry,
you?
what? What was the question?
What town you're in?
Oh, believe it or not, I am in fabulous Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas, baby.
You're in Las Vegas right now?
Yes.
Do you think I love Las Vegas? And you know, it's never Las Vegas never sleeps. Do you think you always live in Las Vegas or no?
Oh, well, that depends on the nature of your business. You know, our we're kind of like New York in a way that we're 24/7. You know, the casinos, the entertainment, the clubs. You know, some are open 24/7, 7 days a week. But you know, we're such a global or international city. Just like you love Las Vegas, and people in Russia and the Middle East. All the continents. Sooner or later, either have heard of Las Vegas or want to come to Las Vegas. And that's because it's been marketed so well. People know you say Las Vegas and they're like, oh, some people save up their life savings just to come to visit here one day or for a few days. And I feel very blessed to be able to live here and tap into the energy. Because when we were talking about energy a little bit earlier, you can feed off of other people's energy as well. It's kind of like when you have one battery in a device, or you have like 4 or 5 batteries in there, you're all like, you can last longer because you have more batteries. That's why it's so important, like Steve Jobs with the Beatles, that's why it's important to have a really good band or a team that supports you, because you're feeding off each other's energy, and it takes longer to burn out that way, and you can get more done. Collaboration.
In one of your interviews, you were saying about how Apple or Steve Jobs' model can help for businesses to sustain during pandemic times. What do you mean? You mean that you can stay in the garage and it's okay, or you need to take the energy of each other? What you were meaning? What is the secret of Steve Jobs or Apple we can use now?
Well, Steve Jobs, it's in a little mini book called "Lead Like the Beatles," and the Beatles. When I was saying a little bit earlier about keeping it simple with your strategies, the Beatles kept it real simple. Now, when the Beatles were getting ready to come to America for the very first time, they had what I call in the rock and roll business a bud, and a bud is a big unreasonable dream. And, we all have to have goals. We all have to have vision. We all have to have dreams. But the data and the research shows that it's easier to achieve a big dream than it is a smaller dream, because it's higher up on the mountain, and it's easier to see. So you have that direction on where you're going than where you have a smaller goal. So, Steve Jobs had big goals, and the Beatles, here's what their goal was. Very simple. To be bigger than Elvis. Be bigger than Elvis. So 5 words. 5 words was the Beatles' goal. So let's break that down. It was very short. So that means it was easy to share with other people and get your fans and get other people on board. You knew exactly what you needed to do. Like if Elvis was here, then we need to make sure that we get to here. And then it was easy to repeat and write down every day, because the greats tell us that that's what you need to do with your goals, is you need to write them down every day. You need to look at them every day. You need to review them every day. And that's what the Beatles did. And Steve Jobs saw that. And then he realized that there's with collaboration, anything is possible. We may be able to make a little noise as one person, but when we have a whole band, when we have a whole team, boom, we're being heard above the noise. We have more energy. We make a lot more chatter when there's, like a mastermind group. None of us is as smart as all of us. Five minds are better than one mind.
Absolutely. Marvelous Mark, what is your biggest dream at the moment?
My biggest dream is to get back to a level of touring with my keynote and my speaking opportunities as I did with my entertainment. So my goal right now is to be performing on a stage 6 times in a month. We were almost there before the pandemic, and it flatlined, and it's starting to come back. We're gaining momentum now, and we want to reach 2 million people by the year 2025.
Wow. I want to manifest the goal of Marvelous Mark. Let him tour, let him collect stadiums, let him go with his great team, let him to be able to change the costume to present great energy, and let his dream come true, and we will follow him as well. Our biggest support. Thank you so much for being with us. It was big pleasure, and I enjoyed